Much. Joining me now is competitive enterprise fellow Carrie Sheffield and Democratic strategist Jessica Ehrlich. Carrie, do these emails point to the broader distrust that Americans have for Hillary? I suppose that's the big question this morning.
Well, I think yes. The New York Times, who is no conservative rag, pointed out that Hillary's favorables are down to the lowest point in her 23-year public history. So this just speaks to the broader distrust. And I got to point out the 305 emails, that's already been filtered through her. So we don't even actually know. There could be even thousands more that we don't know that are actually classified that pass through her that she's not even getting to light.
And that's the disturbing thought, right? We don't know how bad this is going to get just yet. Jessica, I want to bring you in because when we do look at the recent polling, of course, the most recent Fox News poll still shows that if the election was held today, Hillary Clinton would still win. When is that going to change if what we continue to learn daily worsens?
I don't know that it actually will change because I think there are still people and her supporters who question the entire process of what's going on and the need to be looking into this as whether it's just sort of an ongoing muckraking process. So we've already seen in her polling going back that there's that level of people who distrust her. But I think we've still seen at the same time her incredibly high polling for people thinking that she's qualified for the job. So I don't really see, unless something really crazy comes out, there's a smoking gun that says, oh yes, there was something that was really top secret and in some way was deleterious to the safety of our country, that they catch her red-handed with something, that until then she'll still be leading, and there's a great possibility that she could be the next president of the United States.
Well, I got to point out on the Fox polling, though, because you're right that she is going to get the nomination most likely. However, Fox polling shows if you put her against Jeb, if you put her against Rubio, she loses. She actually wins, though, against Trump. So there's a very good chance that this is going to continue to be an albatross around her neck into the general.
Okay, speaking of which, go ahead.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility, right? It's not guaranteed, but if you look at what the court schedule is, we know for the next several months there will be a lot more emails released. So it just really depends on the content of that email, as our other analyst was talking about.
Yeah.
All right, so Kevin, front and center though, when you look at the Republican side, how do you see things shaping up? Donald Trump doesn't look like he's going away anytime soon.
No, and we're in that phase right now where people are really going after their personas and not really the policies that they're looking to enact. They're starting to trickle out. We're starting to see him. Donald Trump actually it seems like his policies are all about big government as long as he's in charge of it, but not when other politicians are. So I'm waiting to hear more back, and then I think we'll start to see a shakeup. But the last debate actually was really telling. You saw poll numbers now starting to go back and forth.
And we're getting more specifics, right? Carrie, Scott Walker out this morning with his precise details of how he plans to repeal Obamacare, right? So now we've had the first debate, and now we are starting to get specifics on how these, people would actually behave and act if they became president.
Right, which has been a criticism up until now, and a criticism of Donald Trump, because that was something that people were saying, he would say, just trust us. And so now he's come out with his immigration plan. I got actually big question marks with his immigration plan. I don't think that it's very feasible. I mean, he wants to put in a constitutional amendment. I don't think he's going to get that. He wants to punish Mexico for not, building a fence or cooperating. I think that's only going to hurt American consumers. So I just have a hard time thinking that any of what he's proposing is going to actually work.
Jessica, final word to you. How do you see things this morning? As we do learn more about Trump's plan, we're learning more about Scott Walker's plan if he were to become president.
Well, I think the great thing is that even like Judge Napolitano last night was saying how outrageously ridiculous Trump's immigration plan is. There's only like one part of it that could actually ever be enforced or put together, and the numbers on it are outrageous. And then Scott Walker's like, oh yeah, that sounds just like my plan. So we're talking about two immigration plans that absolutely are impossible to ever carry out, but they certainly get people riled up. So I think as we continue to go on, we've got people who I think, I'd keep an eye on Senator Cruz. He's been stealthily working away. He's got a very intense and detailed policy, and he is a killer debater. Marco Rubio, certainly another, Florida son here, has been doing a great job and certainly speaking to people my generation. And similarly, we'll see Jeb Bush has a lot of policy people behind him. So it'll just be interesting to see how all this turns.
All right. As they say, it's still early. All right. Thank you so much, Carrie Sheffield and Jessica Ehrlich, for joining us bright and early this morning.